language of modern anatomy, like the language of medicine itself, is a universal language and has its origins in the 15th and 16th centuries, and indeed owes a good deal to that pioneer of human anatomy, Andreas Vesalius. Anatomical language has its own specialized vocabulary and nomenclature. The great Irish-born dramatist, writer, and Nobel laureate George Bernard Shaw once observed rather cynically that all professions are a conspiracy against the laity. And what he implied thereby was that the jargon invented by each profession was there to obscure the workings of the profession from the outsider. Let me assure you that there is nothing conspiratorial or obscure about anatomical terminology. It is there simply to enhance precision, to ensure consistency and accuracy of description. Being largely a descriptive science, anatomy makes much use of topographical terms which denote position, location, direction, planes, and movement. To eliminate all ambiguity when using such anatomical terms of topography, there is a convention universally observed which assumes the body to be in the so-called anatomical position. In the anatomical position, the body is upright, head facing forwards, neck bent neither forwards nor backwards, upper limbs applied to the sides of the trunk, straight, palms facing forwards, lower limbs together, feet flat on the ground, and toes pointing forwards. The terms anterior and posterior denote the front and the back of the body respectively. Synonymous with the word anterior is the term ventral, and synonymous with the term posterior is the word dorsal. The terms superior and inferior refer to the upper and lower ends of the body respectively. Synonymous with the term superior is the word cranial or cephalic, and synonymous with the word inferior is the term caudal. The terms superficial and deep refer to the position of a structure relative to the surface of the body. Thus, superficial refers to a structure near the surface of the body, and deep to a structure somewhat removed from the surface of the body. The terms medial and lateral denote the position of a part of the body in relation to the median axis of the body. Thus, the inner aspect of the upper limb, in the anatomical position of course, is medial relative to the outer aspect of the limb, which is lateral. The terms proximal and distal relate specifically to the limbs. The term proximal denotes the part of the limb which is near the trunk, and distal relates to the part of the limb that is removed from the trunk. Thus, the shoulder is proximal to the elbow, which in turn is proximal to the palm. There are additional terms which are used specifically in relation to the upper limb. The term radial denotes the lateral aspect of the forearm, and the term ulnar denotes the medial aspect of the forearm. The terms palmar and volar may be used interchangeably and denote the anterior aspect of the hand or palm. Anatomists, surgeons, and in particular radiologists make much use of imaginary or arbitrary planes to describe the location of structures in the human body. So let's begin with a vertical plane that bisects the body into right and left halves. Such a plane is defined as a median plane. Any plane parallel to the median plane may be described as a sagittal or paramedian plane. A vertical plane which is perpendicular or orthogonal to the median plane is described as a coronal plane. Now imagine a plane which is orthogonal or perpendicular both to the coronal and median planes. Such a plane is referred to as a horizontal or axial plane. And so, to summarize, the four principal planes are the median plane, the sagittal or paramedian plane, the coronal plane, and finally the horizontal or axial plane.